How's the squad looking for this game?
Quite okay. Ben Davies will be in the selection again for the first time. Tom Lawrence not, but it's more like precaution, like we did with Ryan Jack in the weekend. So they're coming back. Played a lot of minutes, so to give enough recovery that we can build them the next weeks in a good way. So Ryan Jack is back in the selection.
Have you seen the positive effects of maybe leaving Ryan out for a game and seeing those in training?
It's a step-by-step story, yeah. So for them, it's like a kind of preparation. Now it's not like a normal season where you're in top shape and you can do all the games. They come back from a long way, from a longer injury. They both have also a history of injuries who were recurrent. So we need to be careful with them, and there's a good communication with medical staff and performance staff about that, and I need to make decisions around that with a clear plan for them.
How do you assess the challenge of Ayr United?
That it's always challenging. It's about showing quality, showing mentality, showing respect for their qualities also. Yeah, I think the best example was last night. I follow always my friends. So Monaco went out of the cup against the second division team yesterday evening. So those are not things that I want to see happen here.
Scot Brown, who's in the opposition dugout, has a long history of playing against Rangers. Do you feel that will maybe add a bit of extra needle to the game, whether that's maybe just in the stands?
I read that he loves Rangers, so I love all the people that love Rangers. So that can be really, really good between us also on the sidelines.
Can I ask you about Dujon Sterling? The club appealed his red card that was unsuccessful. Is that a disappointing outcome for yourself?
You don't wanna lose players, but you need to accept decisions. Like I said after the game, referees are there to to stick to rules, to see that the game is a good game, that there's good quality also for everybody. It's important for managers, for players, for fans, that there's clarity. This situation was not so clear. Otherwise, there was also not a VR intervention to look at the images. So, okay, the decision is made and we need to accept it. There's no other choice in that.
Does the club feel confident going into the appeal just based on the fact that it had been recommended to the referee to go over to the screen and have a look at it?
Yeah, of course, that's the thing, and we've seen also other tackles in other games where it was a yellow card. But that's the thing about football. It's never black and white. There is a gray area, and it's a difficult job as a referee in that gray area to go which side. So um, I think that's also one of the charms of football. I don't feel that sometimes when it goes against you, but it is because of that. There's always a lot of discussion. You guys can make a lot of articles about that. Supporters can make a lot of discussions about that. But clarity is really important. But there will always be a gray part, and that was maybe the mistake that everybody had when VR was coming into the game, that the gray zone would disappear. That's not possible. It's impossible because there are so many nuances in every action. So this was a gray zone, and it went against us, this decision. So we need to accept it.
Speaking about refereeing, the referee for this game is Willie Collum. Earlier this season, the club asked that he not referee Rangers games. What do you make of him being in charge of this fixture?
I'm happy, to be honest, because when there's one moment that I would think that the referee is not neutral, then I would directly quit my job. So I'm happy that we can leave the past behind us then.
Were you involved in the discussions?
No.
Would you have liked to have been involved in those discussions with others at the club ahead of that request being made?
that's something for in the club, and we've talked about that.
Okay, so moving forward, if a similar situation was to arise, would you expect to be consulted before anything was done?
That will happen in the future, yes.
Staying with officiating in a slightly different way, take it away from Rangers, a lot of talk about blue cards and players being taken out of the game for 10-minute spells. What do you think of that idea as a concept?
I understand the idea behind. I think also that there needs to be something done in general towards like contact with referees, how to do it. But the thing of taking players out for 10 minutes, I think it will create much more nervousness, much more stress, much more even situations by doing that. Because how long does it take to get a player off the pitch? It's now already with changements, and they changed the rule to go on the shorter side, what was a step forward for me, because before there was a lot of winning time with that, or losing time with that. So you will have that situation even more if you have to take a player off. So when does the 10 minutes start? Is it 10 minutes playing time? Is it 10 minutes really time? So what is team gonna do when they have one player less? What does that? What is the result for that for the game of football? So I'm totally not a fan of that. I think you start to do another game, and we need to watch out to not change the game. I think there's a good product with the game of football, and I think it's really important for the game of football to be fluent. The more stops you have, the more moments you have, the less good product you have. That's why I also sometimes get irritated when teams winning a lot of time or losing a lot of time and the referee don't come in between, because it's important to have a good product. Nobody wants to watch a game where there's no football, where it's only about stopping time and there are no good actions and there are no chances and there are no goals. People come to see that. People are paying a lot of money to do that. Broadcasts are paying a lot of money to do that. So I don't think it's a good idea to take extra players off during the game, because it will create maybe a downfall for the game.
Can you provide a fitness update on Leon Balogun?
Yes, that Leon went to see the specialist, and I expect him back next week, not now. Is it already Ross County or for the weekend? I'm not sure about that yet, but it will not be a long-term thing. He's going to play with a mask, so he needs to get a mask and everything. And the mask needs to be adapted. And I have a little bit experience with those things, so sometimes you need a few sessions to really have a good fit, to see everything and to feel comfortable. So we will see next week how that evolves.
Philip, Scott Wright was just in and he was talking about the importance of La Manga in terms of implementing your tactical ideas and fitness. I wondered, because when you came in you were quite frustrated with the fitness of the team in terms of the injuries. Are you more satisfied now that the team is getting to a level where you're happy?
Satisfied is a difficult word. It's not bad in the situations that we are, and I think all staff, all players did the maximum what they could do in the period that we've been together to get the best out of it. But I think we still have a big margin to grow in that way, in general, in all squads. But it's difficult to do that when you have every 3 days game. So that's why we need also a rotation in the squad to have everybody fit, to let players also train sometimes more instead of playing games. So that makes my job quite more difficult. But I need to look not only short term but also long term, and that's what the team needs now. So it was good, like Scott said, to have this 1 week of La Manga, and we had also 1 week here in Glasgow. But we need more weeks like that to raise our level. But we're going to do that.
And in terms of looking ahead, in terms of pre-season, presumably that's going to be very important for you.
Yeah, of course.
To see the full Philippe Clement Rangers side.
Yeah, of course. It's a really important thing, and it was in the past also like a step up to another level. It's normal, not only physically but also technically. You can do much more things. You can experiment also more things that you can learn the players other things. So no, it's crucial, but we're busy now already with next season. We're planning games already. I think we will have already good fixtures. But I want to be focused now on the next game, and that's tomorrow. Not to be too much busy with preparation of the summer.
Would Mohamed and Oscar be ready to start if you so wish? In terms of fitness-wise?
They are ready to start, but not to play 90 minutes. So that's a possibility, yes.
Well, you've already won a trophy this season and seen how the fans and how everyone in Scottish football reacts to that. I just wonder, if you look at other leagues in other countries across the world, do you feel like in Scotland we value our domestic trophies more compared to other nations?
That's a really good question. What I love about this country and about this club, that there's really a lot of respect for the history. And I've been in clubs before where it was also the case, but not at the extent that it is here. And I don't speak only in the club, also people around, supporters. Also the way of respect towards players, towards managers, also in that way. So yeah, in that way, Scotland is really, and Glasgow is really a city, but it's also outside of Glasgow. I've seen a few times that football lives. It's in the veins of everybody. It feels like that, and I have to say that I didn't know that before I came, and I'm impressed about that. And it's a nice environment to work and to live, because it motivates people even more.
Philippe, you said there earlier that you were happy that Willie's going to be the referee at the weekend. In light of what happened in the Celtic match, your view might be in a minority amongst people involved with Rangers and supporters. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that?
This decision there.
Your view.
Yeah, it's clear. It was for me handball.
No, in terms of Willie being involved tomorrow, you said, oh, you're happy about that.
Yeah, of course, because then we can leave the story behind us. For me, there was a fault made. It was a clear handball. But I'm also not without fault. I make fault every day, probably. So I don't look at people, and if they make a mistake, that they are dead for life or something or whatever. No, this is a new game, new situation. So it's important to, and when we speak about history, not to live in the past. I think it's in life also really important not to live in the past. I don't want my players also to be living in the past about the last few weeks or months or the beginning of the season or whatever. It's about next game, and it's about performing there. And if we made mistakes, like I am doing, like the players are doing, you expect to get new chances to prove that you become better. So I'm in that way into life.
Thanks, guys. Dailies?